Today I'm going to share a step-by-step system that will help you bridge the gap between the life that you have now and a life that you can create by working your way up this pyramid. I want to immediately introduce you to the idea of a time identity principle. This principle states that you've got 100 hours in any given week to create an identity that where every hour is 1% of who you are for that week. I created this principle by integrating a whole bunch of learnings from time management protocols and principles that I've learned over maybe 10 years of getting my shit together. So it incorporates all the useful time management practical stuff, as well as incorporating the theoretical philosophies like manifestation and mindfulness. I like to think it's like an all-in-one health and time management system that challenges you to master your current life and integrate elements of your future self into the present. So let's do it. Fuck knows how long this will be. Alrighty, we've got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's 168 hours every week. So I really don't think I could make a health-focused time management system if you didn't put sleep as your number one priority. So that's the first thing that we're going to focus on is sleep. And say we actually listen to our sleep doctor and we get our 8 hours of sleep per night every single day of the week. So I can go ahead and remove 8 hours of sleep, 7 days a week, 56 hours gone prioritizing our sleep, which goes at the bottom of the pyramid. As I'm sure we can all agree, it's a fundamental building block if we're prioritizing our health first. So we're left with 112 hours left in the week. So now we're going to get this 112 down to 100 hours. And to do that, we're going to take out 12 hours for the week, which is actually, as I was writing the video, I figured out which is an hour 40 per day or 100 minutes per day that you have for your basic functions to be a human. So this is all the essentials, or what I'm calling intrinsic responsibilities, which are the things like eating, sleeping, shooting, showering, doing all the basics that allow you to show up as the minimum functioning standard of a human that you should be. You've got 100 minutes a day to create a functional routine. Now we'll come back to routines, but if you're swift about doing those things, and I'm actually going to create a spreadsheet. I've got a spreadsheet that you can have a look at in the description, which gives you an idea of how you can allocate this 100 minutes so that you can tick off a whole bunch of essential health items if you've never tried to be a functioning human before. But if you can do that 100 minutes faster, then you'll even have some more time if things go topsy-turvy in your day, like they always do. And just like that, we've got minus our 12 hours, our 100 minutes a day allocated to being a functional human. And if you need more than that 100 minutes per day, then you can just borrow a little bit out of the 100 hours, which is going to be our remainder. Now, before we dive into this stuff, I wanted to introduce a secondary framework, which I've integrated and adapted from Dan Koh's business and solopreneur philosophies that use these concepts into how they build a business. And I'm just treating life as a business. So as we work our way up the pyramid, these first 3 layers in blue are going to be focused on the now, and the red will be focused on the future. So when I first started my journey down this route, as in moving my life from an anxious mess into a semi-functional human, I realized that most of my time was going into this bucket. And so this is our maintain list. And your maintain, or ER, your extrinsic responsibilities, is the list of tasks that you require to do to maintain your life at a state where it currently is. This basically meant that everything that I did in life, where I put my energy, was only ever going into a place that to maintain the life that I currently had. But the first time you go through this process, you might find that you also are only allocating your time and energy into these first 3 areas. And that's cool, but this is going to be a way to genuinely assess how much time you are allocating to these tasks as we move our way up the pyramid. So when we look at your extrinsic responsibilities, the things that you need to maintain your life, it's not just looking after your physical holistic health. It's also the promises that you've made to care for others as well. So if you've got 17 kids, 3 dogs, and 5 small businesses that all require your attention to maintain the current life that you have, you're going to really struggle to move up through this pyramid because you have so much time, attention, demand on just maintaining your lifestyle, which is all good, but it's something to be critical of. It's something to be aware of. So when we look at our extrinsic responsibilities, we're not just looking at ourselves in terms of what are our holistic health requirements that we need to fulfill so that we can live a good, healthy life. But it's also the promises that we've made to others to care for them as well. And so this is especially referring to dependents or businesses. So when we look at our holistic health requirements, we have to go through the list of things that requires at least a maintenance level of our physical, psychological, emotional, social, spiritual, financial, environmental, and intellectual health that is required of us to maintain where we're at. And if you don't like that list, you can go make your own categories of health, but we all have health demands that we need to tick before we can improve ourselves. And I look at it this way because what else is there to uphold responsibility to except the elements of yours or others' health requirements? I'm pretty sure everything we aim to maintain in life is relevant to that holistic health spectrum. But if I'm wrong, feel free to let it rip in the comments. I've actually got some examples that might help you tick the boxes for each one on the spreadsheet in the description as well, so check that out. So if your maintenance tasks are the minimum expected requirements that you must perform day to day or week to week, the more that you can compress the time it takes to fulfill those responsibilities, the more time you'll have available to allocate to these top three. Of course, this is just a general recommendation. I believe my mission here is to help build people into everyday athletes. And after being a high-level athlete in what feels like a previous life, I've realized that so much of my holistic health foundations were just way out of whack and definitely contributed to the way that I performed and contributed to the reason why I had to retire. So even if your goal is performance in physical or financial or intellectual health, you're going to have a much better sustainable time if you build the foundations that encompasses all the elements of health before specializing. I really wish I was taught this shit in school. Next up, we're going to go into growth. This is focused on growing and adding to the things that you're currently doing. Like if you want to go build more muscle, then you need to spend some more time hypertrophy training. Or if you want to improve your bank balance or financial health, allocate some time to improve your financial literacy. Or perhaps if you're a small business guy like me, this is where you add elements to your offers, or you increase the amount of people that know about you or how much they are spending with you. You're just growing your business. Now we're actually going to move straight up to the top of the pyramid and talk about our vision. Your vision are your hopes and dreams for the future. The main difference between you now and you in the future is the time that you have allocated to your different tasks. You in the future has a completely different schedule to you now. The faster that you bridge those gaps is the faster that you get to that future self. That's why I've called this whole thing the time identity principle. Working on creating and enhancing clarity on your vision for the future is the most powerful time you can spend on yourself. This is normally found in deep work, answering deep questions about yourself, discovering your purpose and exploring what life you want to live and what you have to give to the world. For me, this is journaling, meditating, breathwork, silence, brainstorming, drawing, scribbling, anything that expresses the essence of who I am, which coalesces piece by piece into the illustration, which is going to be my future. For you, how you spend this time might be different, but it starts by allocating time just to answer the question, if I could be anything in the world, who would I become? Keeping in mind, of course, the answer to who you'll become is going to be expressed as how you spend your time doing things. It's definitely a question worth answering in your next journal session. Now, lastly, we've got create. This is simply putting the vision that you have in front of you and choosing something out of that vision to create. In creation time, your dreams literally become reality. It's the stuff that needs to be built brick by brick if it has any chance of surviving in the future. These are the things that once created become the thing that you do now. For me, this video came from creation time. It went from envisioning a story that I wanted to share, creating a script that's hopefully fun and impactful. And so it holds a place in my vision for the future by sharing life-changing ideas, philosophies, and actionables that have helped me shape and craft a better life. I created this video so that I can share a piece of my vision with others. And in the future, when I'm facilitating clients or writing programs, I've got this I've got this video as a reference point to come back to. So if you'd like to join this adventure, feel free to subscribe or leave a like and let me know that what I'm doing is actually helpful. So now we've got our framework in place. Everything here is maintaining the current life that we have. Then we grow the value or ability of the life that we have. Then we create a piece of our vision into the life that we have. And the vision is time building, visualizing, identifying, and clarifying what we want our future to look like. Now, this is all useless unless we understand this next bit. Your time is nothing without the energy and focus to maximize its potency. So I wanted to detour for a second and talk about our creative energy. It's that spark that we have in the morning when we wake up and we're fresh and we've got a new day ahead of us. And as you ascend up this pyramid, the demand for creativity, curiosity, and love for the world and about what is possible, the demand increases. This means the time that you spend visualizing and clarifying the ideal life that you want to have burns through this creative juice really fast. But that also means as we move back down this pyramid, the tasks at the bottom that just we use to maintain ourselves don't burn through as much juice. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people probably make, or at least I used to. If you're spending all that creative energy, all that spark on tasks and responsibilities that don't even offer a level of growth, as in you're pouring all your love, your passion, your joy into tasks that are just there to maintain the life that you currently have, well, you're probably finding it pretty impossible to create anything new or grow or improve because you get to the end of the day and you're cooked. There's no point trying to squeeze the same dried lemon. This realization was a massive breakthrough when I started scheduling my time and energy for my future self, not my current self. Naturally, scheduling your time in a way that you put your vision, your creations, your growth first is a privilege. It takes time to be able to compress these tasks into a smaller time frame so that you can put these other things and fit them around it. But I believe that privilege can be created. I was once just a broke-ass personal trainer and I couldn't afford to pay the rent for the gym. And I wasn't even owning a facility, this was just space on a floor. And now I've owned a 6-figure and helped manage a 7-figure health and movement business. But the moment I started to prioritize my time and energy towards the person that I wanted to become, instead of the person that I was already being, was the moment that my life started to move up towards who I am today. I've found that spending time truly diving deep, imagining what the future could be like, is one of the most empowering and fulfilling feelings that you could imagine. But it's also the most taxing thing out of all the other things I do in my day. This is an important consideration when you're looking to implement this stuff. If you've got opportunities to grow or create things in your current life that maybe even have a really good acute benefit, like a job interview or a project deadline, maybe it's not the best idea to go and spend 2 hours in the morning imagining what your life is going to be like in 10 years' time. And now you have to go and do a job interview that might have nothing to do with your 10-year plan. And instead, maybe if you put the deep work off for a day, when you show up to that job interview, you're going to have all that passion, all that spark, all that creative energy ready to share with people. So the lesson here is this: if you want a different life to the one that you're living now, don't waste all your time, energy, and creative spark on tasks that don't contribute to your future. Alternatively, if you enjoy your Zen Buddhism like I do, and you're at peace with where you're at, and don't desire anything more in the world than the life that you currently live, then you're in a perfect spot. You'll have all the fun, loving energy to share with the world around you and enjoy your day as is. So when you spend your energy here, do it with a sense of peace. But if you're allocating time and energy up here, know that you're working towards progress. And I encourage you to walk both paths from time to time. Break routines, make routines. Spend time building your future, but spend time in the future that you've already built. And that's this moment now. Take a breath. Last thing I wanted to touch on is habits and routines. After dissecting all of this, we can safely say that a good goal for now is to compress the time it takes to maintain our current level of health, responsibilities, and lifestyle. A good definition of routine in action is an order of processes that maximize desired outcomes while minimizing time and energy expenditure. Like brushing your teeth after eating dinner instead of before, so you don't have to do it again. Like putting your phone on charge away from the bed so that you're not tempted to go scrolling when it's eyes closed time. A habit is therefore anything we do unconsciously. If we can make good habits out of our routines, then we are going to spend less time and less energy taking care of the tasks that maintain us. So as you go through the list of things that you need to do for the upkeep of your current life, think about ways that you can efficiently tick things off. It's also worth noting down all of the routines or the habits that are currently moving you away from the future that you're trying to build, like the unnecessary fast food binge when you're cutting, or anything that removes focus away from the task at hand. That was a lot of info, so let's summarize it briefly. Number 1, every hour you spend on something is 1% of who you are that week. It's not a good time to go look at your screen time from last week. Number 2, sleep takes 56 hours, plus the 12 hours for intrinsic responsibilities and being a functional human. Remember, there's a spreadsheet in the description. That leaves 100 hours in the week for extrinsic responsibilities and creating our future. First, create your maintain list and optimize your schedule to minimize time spent doing it. Create your vision, create and grow lists with optimistic ideas for where you're headed. And make sure you are adding the amount of time that you think it will take to perform each and every task. You've only got 100 hours. Number 6, understand to operate at minimum human levels, you should prioritize, maintain, create, grow, vision when scheduling. Or if you're just having a shit day, this is just ensuring that you meet minimal functional requirements, working your way up this way. But to maximize your time traveling, yeah, I fucking said it, then you want to work from the top down, prioritizing vision, your creations, your growth. Put all of that first. And I mean literally, put it first in the day when you wake up, because that is when you are got the most juice with the most energy to get about it. Number 9, stay focused. It's okay to fuck it up, and you will, especially how long you think it takes to do things. But failing to plan anything is planning to fail everything. Maybe that's a little harsh, but if Scouts taught me anything, it's be prepared. Lastly, don't become obsessed. Allow yourself to live in phases of peace and progress. Or do get obsessed. If you don't really have any responsibilities outside brushing your fucking teeth, then go ballistic. You have a life to live. I really hope this helps someone. It might be a little complex, but it's a framework that I use, and it's allowed me to identify time is a resource that we all have access to, and health is something that we all need to focus on. So therefore, the way that we allocate our time is an expression of the person that we're going to be each and every week. Remember, this is just a framework. If you need another hour a day to work on the stuff that allows you to function properly, then you're going to need to take it out of the 100. You will only have 93 hours in the week. And that's okay, because most people have a full-time job, and so they lose 38. We'll call it 40. We'll call it 50 including travel. And that's 50% that you don't have. But with the 43% remaining, there's time in there for you to work towards your vision, work towards building something greater. If I missed anything, or if you got any questions, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.